So we have Kellsie Moore with us today on the podcast. I'm so excited to have her here. And we're recording it too. So if you want to watch it on Facebook, there'll be a video. I'll actually attach the video in the show notes if you want to kind of see the two of us. I don't
Sometimes
know
it's
why
more
you would,
fun that way, right?
but it's about video. So I want to make sure there's video. So hey, Kellsie.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I love that, Gina.
You're welcome. I'm so excited that you're actually here with me. I have to tell you guys, the first time that I met Kellsie, she came up to me at BBD Live, which is a program that we were both in. It's Business by Design with James Wedmore. And I, of course, was being my usual introverted self, had placed myself in the very, very back of the conference room with nobody around me, like, afraid anybody might approach, honestly. Like, I know it's a networking event and you're supposed to meet people there. But those things just always make me so nervous. And so I had just kind of been in the back. Kellsie, during a break, came up, introduced herself. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. We just connected right away. I was so grateful that she even came up and talked to me, and I had somebody to just sit and talk with. And then she told me about what she was doing, which was she was developing this course and setting up this retreat and this mastermind about getting comfortable on camera. And I was like, oh, that's a hard no. That's a hard no from me. I cannot be on camera. Like, it literally, you guys, scared me so much. So we were talking about marketing a little bit, and I was trying to give her suggestions to try to reach people like me, because I had honestly no clue what the hell I was talking about. She was so gracious and listened to me anyway. She basically listened to my pity party of why I could never be on video. And she basically, like, without batting an eye, told me, everybody can do it. You could do it too, Gina. Like, all you have to do is just believe in yourself. This was our very first meeting. And now we've kind of kept in touch through the past few years. I actually signed up for her most latest course called Captivate on Camera. It's loaded. I mean, loaded with everything that you could possibly need to be on camera, from just like who you're reaching out to like what should your makeup be like what kind of equipment should you have, where are you taking this from there, like any question that you ever had about being on video, she answers in this program. I can speak to that because I own it. I bought it and I think it's amazing. So yes, so Kelsie's here with
I
me
so
and I'm
appreciate
so
that.
excited. And so I want to start off just really by just hearing from you and, like, what's your story like? How did you get interested in video? And yeah, whatever you want to tell us, we want to hear.
Oh, thank you. Well, I so appreciate that. And I love having you inside of Captivate on Camera. I'm so glad that you're there. You are crushing it. I was just telling her how just blown away and like insanely proud of you I am for the amazing video you posted. Like, you're just doing such a great job. I'm just completely impressed by it. And I loved our first conversation. Like, I really sit on that, like 49% introvert, 51% extrovert. So big events, I'm like, okay, like absorb the energy as much as I can to like go do something with it. And then I need a lot of downtime to like recuperate. But I'm totally that person that will sit on the very edge in the very back, that'll like intentionally sneak in late so that I don't have to be there to have small talk with people like before the stuff starts.
Same.
And so I was like, okay, Kellsie, like, you flew all the way out here. You did this, like, you're here. Use these breaks, go talk to people. And I just like made a commitment to myself to go and have conversations, because I was like, these are my people. Like, I love the humans in this room. These are driven entrepreneurs that care about making an impact in the world, making an income for themselves, like for their dreams and their families, like this stuff, this is so aligned inherently. So I was like, okay, you can do it. Be brave, go talk to people. And I saw lovely Gina sitting there in the corner. I was like, okay, perfect.
All
I'm
by
going to go
yourself.
say hi. Yeah. I know it's kind of like, oh my God, you feel like the high schooler or something where it's like, okay, well, it's a person sitting by themselves, not a group. That's easier to approach. Like, it's intimidating, but it's something that I think so many of us feel, that it's just embracing that and going for it. And I'm so grateful because I was really at that time putting together, it was 2019, putting together that kind of new program and course and creation. And I was launching it with a retreat, which was amazing. I'm so glad I did it. And I'm so glad it was 2019 when we could have retreats and like that I just dove in and decided to back myself and believe in myself and take the steps into this dream, because it's now been able to unfold for me over that next year and a half has been uh, remarkable. I'm so grateful for that. But it only happens because of having these different kinds of conversations, like sitting down with you, Gina. And remember, you said you're like, oh, I'm your ideal client. I was like, oh, good. Tell me more. Like, what do you need? What do you want? And kind of being able to see and recognize, like, well, even if somebody's, not ready to maybe take this exact step for themselves yet, it was still a part of that conversation and that genuine relationship building, which is exactly what we need to do online. Like that's where that power of communication comes from. So if we can be showing up on video on our stage, right? Our social media platforms, that's our own event essentially that we have access to for free every single day, that we can start showing up consistently, building in that core messaging to reach those people who are like, some of them are like, yes, I'm totally ready now. Thank you. I was searching for the solution. You are solving my problem. I'm ready to sign up. Like, let's go. But you're also going to be nurturing those relationships with some people that are going to say, wow, like, thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming over and talking to me. Like, I'm really grateful because I know this is on my radar, even if it's going to be a year or so down the road before I'm ready to take that step. It's still starting to build in that rapport, that relationship. And this is why I say, like, video is the most effective way online to build the knowability, the likability, and the trust factor in a really authentic way through the internet. And it's such a powerful means of communication that is really why I'm so passionate about teaching it and getting other entrepreneurs who have these same aspirations and this drive and this sensation and believing in more, in that life doesn't just have to be like working a crappy job and being miserable in a situation and being stuck there. Like, we actually have so much more opportunity and potential. So if I can help some people see that in themselves, believe it, and then show up and share it in a way that's going to be compelling, have reach, grow their accounts, inspire others, like make a difference and help make their business make money, like that's the goal. That feels so worthwhile for me. And we were talking about this a little bit before, how we have a similar kind of background and really what created this shift into this completely like 360 different life. So I'd love to share that with you guys if that's a good idea, if I should do
Yeah,
that
yeah,
now.
share it. I love it because there's so many, actually, Kellsie, so many of the people, the women that even listen to the podcast and follow me are like currently in a 9 to 5, 40-hour a week
Mm,
situation that they don't see. It's hard for them to see a way out of that. It's like, no, I picked this career, and this is what I'm going to have to do till I have my retirement party. Um, but you and I are both examples that we started in a place where it was a career, and we put a lot of time and effort
mhm.
into developing that side of ourselves so that we were, really good at what we did. And then we had a moment. I know I did. I'm sure you did too, where it was like, I don't think I want to do this for the next 20 years of my life. Like, I'm going to start looking like and find a way out. And so I love this
Yes.
parallel. And I know so many women have this as well. Like maybe this thought that they don't want to be stuck where they are till whenever. And so, yeah, share.
Oh, oh, I love this so much. Like this is the most fundamental shift that we can have is simply starting to first acknowledge that there is the potential of something else, something different, something better, something greater. And it's most likely not going to be easy. You're going to have a lot of stuff to figure out along the way and trials to work through, and that's okay. Like that's still so worth it to be able to be moving in the direction of something that's actually desired by you. And what kind of originally brought me to this shift was that after graduating from college, I took really, I mean, we were in the recession at the time, and I took the first job that I could that made sense. It was a company I had volunteered for in college, and I became a teacher first in a community correctional facility. So at the time, it was a co ed facility, it was men and women. And then they moved all the women out and it became an adult male only correctional facility. And I was teaching GED and higher ability. So I was teaching these guys who are coming in out of a lot of failed probation or leaving from a long-term incarceration from prison before they went to parole. I would get those two mixes of clientele. And we were teaching them how to interview, how to write resumes, how to talk to women, how to like be and exist in the community. And there was a piece of it that was extremely fulfilling. And it was like, wow, I can do something here. Like I can make a difference. And it was fascinating to me. I was coming from an anthropological background and I was like, feels like an ethnographic study every day. Like it's really interesting. It's using my different skill sets. And so that's kind of, we find these ways where we're like, okay, like this makes sense for me. I'm going to keep going in this. Because sometimes when I just tell people right off the bat, I was like, oh, I worked in corrections and, in this different role and stuff. They're like, what? Like we have a process where like, it makes sense how I got here and why I stayed for this time. And we have those ways of like rationalizing it and justifying it until something really opens up our awareness to the significant amount of unhappiness. And for me, that took a couple of years. And I had moved into the position then of a case manager. So that's where it's not a position a lot of people know even exists, but it's the in between a probation and a parole officer. That was me. And so I was managing the lives of about 25 adult male felons. And it was intense. There was a lot. There was
I'm laughing
a lot.
because I know.
You
I
know
know.
it so well. It's like I mean, I remember like the feeling of every single day just being like, okay, you can take it. And like whatever's gonna come your way. And I mean, eventually it just really started to deteriorate me. But not only that, it paid so terribly. So I was actually working a corporate job at an engineering firm in the morning downtown, and then would drive 30 minutes to get to the correctional facility, be there from noon to 9. And then on weekends, I would work a photo booth at weddings and events. And
What?
I was beyond exhausted. And I mean, I had no time, I had no money, I had no concept of what personal development was. I had no one I was listening to. I felt unbelievably alone and completely like frazzled. And oh my God, is this it? Is this everything? Is this adulthood? Like this sucks. This is terrible. And I had one night that just snapped my focus into place that I was the one who had created this entire scenario. And I was sitting in my office about 9 p.m. I was packing up my things, getting ready to go. And I was on the second story and there's rain leaking in through my window. It's a storm outside. It is as cinematically dramatic as it sounds. We were in an old tuberculosis hospital building that was very old, mold in the ceilings. Everything was falling apart. There's like no lights on. I'm the only staff member in the hallway of all their rooms. So it's just me and all of them and the only person there. And I mean, I literally have like one lamp in the corner and that's it. And I was just like feeling the darkness, like physically, literally, and figuratively was just, it became so potent in this moment when I had a client who's about a 200-pound guy, just a really big dude. Sorry, maybe like 250 something. Like he was a large man. Barged into my office, and he had had some issue with his medication, so he was off his meds at the time, and he was actually a client that was in there for murder and was coming out of a 25-year sentence, and has a huge temper. Like, I know exactly what he's capable of and who he is. And he storms in my office and is just irate and screaming at me and like, I'm never going to get out of here. And all of this is happening. And it's your fault. And just like this full rage energy. And it's me, my window behind me, my desk in front of me, and he's blocking my exit. He's a big guy. I was just like, in that moment, I just literally start reaching for the scissors in my desk drawer. And I was thinking, like, this is so stupid. I hate this. I was like, why am I here? Oh my God. Like, this is just an overwhelming feeling of this is so dumb. I do not have to have this be my life. Like, I was like, I used to be a passionate person. I'm intelligent, I'm soulful. I get lit up about things in life. Like, I used to make a difference. I have so much more left in me to give and to do. And in this moment, it just feels so worthless. Why did I allow myself to be in this situation? And the kind of clarity that just snapped in that as he's like charging at me was, I put myself in this situation, and therefore I was the only person that could get me out. Now, in that literal physical moment, I needed some help, and thank the Lord, I had a coworker that happenstance walked by in the hallway at that exact moment. No reason why he was there, happened to pass through, and together we were able to de-escalate the situation, get his meds figured out. It was a clerical error at the office downstairs, not a big deal, pretty easy fix, got it taken care of. And once everything calmed down and this client left my office, I just closed my door and I just sat there for like 10 minutes, just thinking, what used to make me happy? Like, I know I've felt happiness before. I just can't remember what it felt like. But I know it's been there. I had a lot of happy moments growing up, and I'm married, and I was like, I remember what it feels like to be joyful and in love and healthy and all these things. I just haven't felt them in a long time. And I started writing out a list, and I was like, I love traveling. I can't even remember the last time I took a trip. I loved dating my husband. When was the last time we actually like connected? I love feeling strong and healthy in my body, and I'm really overweight right now. And I really wanted a dog, and I really loved acting. My God, I used to have this dream of being an actress, and can I even imagine, that being in my reality now? And I remembered who I was. And so 2 weeks after that night, I ended up going to an indie film audition that I found online. I booked the lead role. I decided in that moment, I'm going to become an actress. I didn't have any training in film and TV. I didn't care. I was committed to the role and I rocked it. Next 6 months, I spent every weekend, left that other job. Every weekend I was filming this. It was actually a Stephen King Dollar Babies film, which is cool because then Stephen King actually got to watch it and approve it. And I lost 40 pounds. I started learning about budgeting and money and shifting the way we did things so that I could start putting money into a travel account. Planned our first New Year's Eve New York City adventure. I mean, I just started doing one step at a time. And it took me about 4 years from that time to actually create my own business. But that was 4 years that I delved into learning everything I could about business online, brand strategy, how to build digital marketing, websites, funnels. This is where Business by Design with James Wedmore came into play and teaching me those skills. This is where I dove into everything with personal development, learning the power that we actually have within ourselves. I didn't know what meditation or mindset was before. I had no idea. And now I'm like, everybody listen. It's everything. And it was just one foot in front of the other for years. And I mean, it still is. I'm still so much in the infancy of this life, right? We all are. And it's like there's so much joy and hope and potential that's in front of us if we choose to see that and choose to walk in that direction. And for me, when I kind of had that moment of, I want to take all of these business skills and really learning to grow social media and a digital product with the foundation teaching style of personal development, the core of who we are, so we can have the fortitude and the courage to keep going with the skill sets that I've now learned as a professionally trained and represented and working actress in multiple regions. If I can take all of that and I can share that to some of my favorite people, these entrepreneurs that are soulful, that are driven, that are ambitious, that have these great goals, if I can take that and help teach that to them, like, that is fulfilling. That is worthwhile. That is worth the effort. And that is why I do what I do.
Holy crap. My mind is blown.
Well,
What a story.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. It
Wow.
was it
Wow.
was
That's
eye-opening.
incredible. I feel like everybody who ends up being an entrepreneur also has like some kind of like come to Jesus moment with
Yes.
themselves, but it's never quite like involves a 250-pound man coming at them.
Some do. But that's part of the the beauty of storytelling. And when we take, it doesn't seem like a direct correlation, right? That one thing would lead into the other. But when we take what we've actually been through, you know, people see themselves in each other's stories. So it might have a different night of what it looked like that shifted something for them, but everyone, I believe it. I think everyone that's going to listen to this, it's going to see this, has had some sort of moment where they woke up and
Yeah.
they were like, this isn't what I want. This is not what I can do for the next 30 years. Like, get me out of here. And that's relatable and that's powerful.
I love what you were saying too about when you were working in the correctional system, just how you kind of forgot so many of those
Mhm.
things. And
Yeah.
that was similar to my journey because I got very good at what I was doing and I did enjoy
Mhm.
it. And there was people there that I did like seeing daily. We would laugh, we would talk. But
Yeah.
until I stepped away from it, I didn't realize that I was walking into a very negative energy every single day. And
All the
I mean,
time.
that is that system. The courtroom is negative because it's very confrontational. It's designed to be that way.
Mhm.
But to actually wake up every morning and then place yourself into a room or an office or whatever a situation daily where there's negative energy coming from a coworker or like from a judge or an opposing attorney or a client, like I didn't realize what that negative energy was doing to me. It was just part of my job.
Mhm.
It was part of my reality,
Yep.
um, until
It's
I stepped
normal.
away from it and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, what? That was not good. That was not good for me to be in that negative
Mhm.
every day, but I didn't see it at the time. When I stepped away from it, I saw it so clearly. I was like, I felt so light. And then I saw so much
Yeah.
potential for myself. And then you start looking around, it's like, you have potential. You have potential. Oh my God, you have potential too. Like, what are you doing over there still? Why are you doing that? You have so much potential. And so many people are just so stuck in the routine of it that they don't see it.
Mhm.
Which is why it's so fun when you have something and then you have something to offer. Like, I can show you what your potential is, and your life is never going to be the same. And you, like with what you're doing, you looked at me, you're like, Gina, you didn't know me. You didn't know me. You're like, you have so much potential.
Uh-huh.
Because wait, you see it like it was very genuine. It was very authentic. Like you truly did see that in me. Like you need to add video to what you're doing because you have so much more potential than what you think you do. And this limiting belief that you have that you can't be on camera is holding you back from amazing things that you can accomplish and do. And that was just one small thing, like the video part of it. Like I can look at somebody and who's has so many amazing ideas, or somebody who can really help in coaching. And I'm like, you should start a podcast. Like, you would be so great. People would listen to what you have to say. You're so interesting. And they're like, oh, hell no. Hell no.
Not
I
me.
could never do that. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know I don't know how to use this. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what I would do. But helping them, like, okay, but I see potential in you. It's
Mhm.
so awesome. It's so important. And then for whoever's on the other side of that, like I was, and you have been at some point, we all have, actually having that one small moment, like that one small step of faith, like, I'm just gonna try it.
Yeah.
And it may suck. It may suck the first time, but I'm gonna try it again. And I may just do it in the privacy of my own home, because I may suck a lot and I don't want anybody to see me, but I'm gonna try. And then I'm
Yeah.
gonna try again. And before you know it, you're like, you're doing it. You're doing it, which is so cool. I honestly wouldn't have thought about video. It might have come to me at some point. But it's so important. Like, I even tell my clients now who I help with on Instagram, they're like, how can I grow my Instagram following? Or how can I sell from Instagram? I'm like, you have to get on video.
Yeah.
The reason why is because you may have an amazing product, you may have something really cool to offer, but the only way you can do that is when people feel a connection with you. Like, you have to form some kind of credibility and trust with them. And the fastest way to do that is to have a conversation with them. Like, if they can see the real you and talking, it's so much different than seeing a picture of you doing, like, right?
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
I mean, you can get to know me so much better when I talk. My clients they know if they're going to have a connection with you. They know if they're going to want to buy your course, because they're like, I like how she talks to me, or I
Yeah.
understand. She explains things in a way I can understand. It's just so important. It can take your success. Like, even if you're on this nice line, you can bump it up so quickly if you can develop credibility with people, and you can do that so much faster through video.
Mm,
So,
exactly.
so you're doing that. Tell us about that. Like, you have this program called Captivate on camera. Like, what's it all about, and why'd you make it?
Yeah. Oh, it's so important because I think it's a Maya Angelou quote that comes to mind, I think, a lot when we were talking about this kind of, building that presence and that credibility. I mean, I really coach on video presence, as in the way we show up, our performance, how we are, as well as the then presence that's dispersed online. That sort of, we want to be seen everywhere. So it's that twofold. And a huge part of it is, um, it, it's a paraphrased version of this quote, but people won't remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Right.
And that's just so key for humans. Like, people really relate to other people's faces. That's also part of why it's really hard when we're using a selfie camera to look at the lens, because we just want to look at ourselves. Our eyes automatically go to other eyes. It's like in our DNA as our
I feel like I'm
species.
doing that right now. Like, I should be looking right at the camera, but instead I'm looking
Right.
at you over here.
Well, and it's actually an important distinction, though, is because in like Zoom recorded style meetings, things like that, it's very normal to be looking kind of down, angled at the side, because then you understand, oh, they're looking at me. But if you're delivering something that's really designed to be like, face to camera interaction with the audience, that's when you want to be looking up at the lens, and you really want to like block out your screen or your phone or something, put up your notes on the screen with your bullet points so that it's covering your face, and you can just glance down, maybe grab a note, and then come back up and deliver it to the lens, because that's your eye contact. So through that video presence, when we're showing up, in that genuine way. And sometimes we have to find what that is for us. Like, what is my authentic self on camera? And that's what I help people do inside of Captivate on camera, because I want people to not just know how to, what lights to use. It's so like we have simple little things that people are like, that holds me back. I'm like, that's not what's holding you back, but we'll answer it. Don't worry. Like, we cover it all. But it's showing up so that you can actually be interesting, be compelling, have that connection with your audience so that you can help make them feel a certain way. We want to share stories and these ideas and these inspirations we have so that we can help create some impact for the viewer. It's like art, and you can see like art's part of my life. I have my little gallery wall behind me. It's like, it's not, it is about how you feel while you're creating it, right? We want to create things from that aligned space of like inspiration and passion that's poured into it. That's where we get to pull in our sincerity into what it is that we're creating. But then it's for the purpose of that expression, and then for the receiver. Art is really finished when it's viewed by somebody, when it's taken in by someone, when someone else gets to have an experience around it. It's the same with our businesses, with our creation. It's not really completed until somebody else gets to have some sort of benefit from it. Now, what's cool about this is that your stuff, my stuff, isn't going to be for everyone. There are
Right.
going to be plenty of people that are like, "Oh, I don't love the way she explains things. I don't really resonate, or this doesn't really click with me, or whatever. I don't like her hair." Like, great. People can choose whatever it is that they want. That's fine. Because think about all we'll look in the personal development space. I particularly really love learning from Catherine Zankina,
Oh,
Manifestation Babe. Love her stuff.
I think
I
we're
love the
both
way
in
she
her program right now. I'm in her
Manifest
academy too.
MB, right?
I love it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's like teaching is the stuff she teaches on is right up my interest alley. I love it. I love the way she communicates it and breaks it down. It's easy for me to absorb. I know that she got a lot of her information from like Tony Robbins, who I think is amazing. I have so much respect for him. And I, for the life of me, cannot sit through some of his like podcasts or episodes or trainings for whatever reason it is. I have so much respect and love like what he's saying, and he says it with so much passion, and I like it, but something about it, I don't retain the information in the same way. It doesn't click in the same way for me. So we need to have multiple people. I mean, hundreds, thousands, millions of different people teaching essentially similar content lines, because you want to have some through line of truth, from one person to the next, but through that individual's voice, through your paradigm, your lens, your experiences, your journey, what you've been through, the way that that's going to filter how it is that you say something, how it is that you relay that information, the energy you share it with, that's going to hit with your niche. Like, that's how we really focus on who is your ideal client, who is your target audience, who is it that you're speaking to, because they're going to be the person who can best receive that information and then create that transformation. That was the point from the very beginning of you creating this art, this business in the first place.
Yeah. That's so awesome that you're saying that, because I feel like that's something that holds people back. I know it's held me back before, because you
Yeah.
do worry about,
Yeah.
well, like, I'm putting myself out there and I'm going to be judged in some way. People are going to be like, why is she doing that? Or who knows? I mean, we come up with all kinds
Everything. Yeah. Anything.
of reasons, but you're not going to be for everyone. And
Mhm.
if you can just go into that, thinking that, with just talking about Catherine, I adore Catherine Zankina. I want to share her message with everyone. I shared it with one of my daughters and I was like, what do you think about this? Like, isn't this amazing? It's great ideas. And she was like, I can't. I can't.
Like,
I don't like how she calls me babe. I'm not her
Mhm.
babe. And I was like, really? That bothers you? Like, there's so much more to this. She's like, I just can't. So you
Yep.
have this person who's, this multi seven figure business, killing it out
Yep.
there, who connects with so many people, but probably also doesn't connect with a lot of other people. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because she has a message. I feel like if I was her only one client, it would be worth it to her because she has shared something that is truly making a difference, and maybe I can make a difference now for somebody. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's her mindset. She doesn't care if there's people out there that, that don't wanna be on her bandwagon.
Yep.
And so for us to let that hold us back, we can't. We
Yeah.
can't. It's silly
That
because you're limiting yourself, and you're not giving what you're meant to give to another person out there, even if it's one person or it's a million people, it doesn't matter. You're stopping that progression. So,
and they're waiting for you. Like,
yeah,
think
they need.
about, yeah, they need you. Like, if you, oh, I so believe through and through, like, if you have something that's tugging on your heart, that's calling you to do something, to create something, to have, you have this idea that just won't go away, like, that's given to you for a reason. It's not just sitting there to bother you. That means that somebody else in the energetic field of all of the world is waiting for you to be the one to communicate that message that you've been given, that download that's come through you. It is now your responsibility to take that on, show up and share it. And like, reach those people who are waiting to hear it, see it, feel it from you, from your voice, from your lens, your paradigm, your story. Like that. I mean, imagine if, Catherine was like, oh, well, a couple people don't like that I call them babes. So therefore, I'm going to change my company name and I'm not going to call people that anymore. It's like, you have to, harness into what's true to you, because then that's when your people are going to show up. That's who's going to resonate. That's what's going to click. And it's going to make them feel like a sister, or like heard or seen or felt in a different way. Cause it's like, oh, she calls me babe. Like, that's cute. I've never had that before. Maybe you grew up and you didn't have a group of girlfriends and you didn't call people that. Like, it can be a term of endearment. So the perspective and the way something's received is going to vary based on the individual. So you show up honoring to yourself, to your truth, and that's going to be what creates your niche.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. So,
Mm.
if you have
Very
somebody right
passionate.
now,
I love it.
let's say we have somebody right now who's listening, who's like, I have some ideas. I would really love to get into this online space. I think I have something to offer. Why does she need you?
Mm,
What can you offer her? Let's say she's thinking, like, she might even be thinking about video. Like, I think maybe I should do video, but I'm not sure if I want to get in a program or a course. I'm not sure if I really want to commit to something like that. What would you tell her?
ooh, ooh, so good. I love this. I love this, I, wow, there's so much. Girl, there's so much I want to tell you. Okay. First and foremost, maybe you don't need me. Maybe it's not the right time. And that's, um, honestly, I would have no idea, and I can never make that decision for somebody. That is the beauty of free trainings and free offerings and opt-ins. So I would be like, hey, well, if this is something that's on your mind, it's on your mind for a reason. So pull on this thread of curiosity, tug on that a little bit, and explore it. Check it out. Watch this. Let me support you the best that I can right now in a free modality before you make a commitment and an investment, and have you find out, because you must learn to build in the discernment and the wherewithal within yourself to be able to trust your decisions, to trust your decision making. Because staying in a place of uncertainty, unknowing, a lack of commitment, indecision will get you literally nowhere. And it's extremely painful. I've lived in that space many times myself, and I don't believe in pressuring people into something. I believe in presenting an opportunity and saying, you have to look at this. If you feel that curiosity, you feel that tug, open your eyes, look at it, take it in, and then say yes or say no, not right now. And like, that's okay. I'll be here. I'm in it for the long haul. I will be here for you. When you're ready and you can say yes to this, that sounds amazing. But I would really first and foremost serve them with free trainings. I have I have incredible free trainings. I have several of them, things that people can use to get started and see if it's going to be the right fit. And if they're like, yes, ooh, okay, yes, I know I need this. Like this walks through, like my course walks through. Like you said, it's loaded. Like
There's
there's
so much.
everything in there. Yeah. I mean, really, what you need for the program to work for you is the ability to choose to back yourself, to believe in yourself, to choose your commitment, because we're going to start from the foundation. You have to have an idea and a concept to start. If you're coming in with, like, I don't even know if I want an online business, how's that going to help you? It's not going to do anything for you. So if you have some of that inclination or a product or something at least in mind, then we're going to walk you through the foundation, build something solid, and then move through all of the marketing, how it is that you shape your message, how it is that you show up, how it is that you build in that confidence, that comfortability. How is it that we pull out your charisma, your charm? How is it that we really start marketing it so that it becomes a return on investment and you actually get revenue from it? We'll walk through all of those steps and you'll be fully supported throughout the way. But if you choose to stop believing in yourself, then there's nothing. Then that's it. Like that's when it stops. So everything in the way and the style that I teach is truly founded in that place of that personal development, of deciding over and over and over again to choose yourself, to choose your dream, because you've built in such a solid why, a foundation. You have your real, what I call your origin story, and what's really started this for you. And once that's strong and that's powerful, then there's no going back. Can you imagine if one of these days when stuff got hard, I just decided to like give up and say I'm done and I went back into corrections? Like, can you imagine?
No.
No. Do you want to bet that there have been times when I've thought I should do that? Oh, hell yeah. there, there have been so many times when stuff has been scary and hard and it's the day in and the day out and incremental growth and you want more and you're like, why does it seem so easy for everybody else and so hard for me? It's not. It's not. They're just on a different day in their journey. And so continuously rebuilding and reinserting that sensation of fortitude to keep moving forward. That is the underlying tone of everything that I do. And then I teach you the skills and the actual strategy and the steps then on top of that. But it's really going to be up to somebody to tug on that curiosity, to look at something and have discernment if it's going to be the right fit for them.
I totally agree with that. And if you have something that is interesting you, I would say
Mhm.
get out there and find a few of those free workshops, free webinars to see
Totally.
if it even brings in more interest, like makes you more curious. But I also have to say that when getting beyond the free stuff that you can get from a lot of different sources, until you decide, I am now going to invest in myself, that is when you are going to see the fastest growth. Because if you're just dabbling in free stuff all over the place, it just doesn't happen. I mean, it can happen, but it's
True.
going to be a lot slower.
Yep.
I have even thought, like, I don't even know, maybe one of my kids was in a program. I was like, well, hey, can I listen to a few of those videos? I might have watched one and then it fizzled. It just doesn't
Yeah.
work unless you truly invest in yourself. Um, Kelsey's program is worth way more than she's charging for it as far as return. And if you are going to invest in that, you're going to do it. You're paying money for something, you're
Mhm.
actually going to follow through. I can tell you guys, I got to a point doing some of this online business, and I found out about James Wedmore probably through his podcast, and I was like, this guy's freaking cool. What is this BBD
Mhm.
thing? And if you haven't heard of it, it's Business by Design. I don't know. He might be launching sometime again soon. If he is, I'll put a link. But um, I looked at some of his promotions and marketing. And I thought, oh my gosh, this sounds like something that would really help me. I was on the fence, like many of you probably are with these kinds of things. Like you feel a little heart tug, a little heart pull, and you're like, I don't know, I just don't know.
Mhm.
So his program was, I think, around, I don't know,
He's three.
$3,000 or something like
Mhm.
that.
1,000.
And I just thought there's no way. I cannot,
Yep.
I cannot afford that. And so he had this like, well, you can pay in full, or we can split it up into 6 monthly payments. The 6 monthly payments were still too expensive for me. I don't even know what that's like, $500.
Yeah. I remember being in the exact
I
same
just
boat.
thought that I can't do it. And I started looking at it more. I was like, God, I really do want this program. Like, I really do
Yeah.
want to be part of it. I can't afford that. I just
Yeah.
know I can't afford it. And I'm looking at my bills. I'm thinking $500. I know I'm just going to have to wait. I'm going to have to wait. So I think like the day before cart close, he sends out this
Yeah.
email saying, if you want a 12-month payment plan, I will do it. Just, I'm giving you this warning that this, if you're not committing to yourself, if you're not investing in yourself with a higher amount, there's a greater likelihood that you will fall out of this program and
Mhm.
lose access to it. And I thought, that's not me. I just give me the lower payment I want in.
I'll
Just
commit.
please,
I'm in. I will do every lesson.
I really want to afford it. So it was like two something, 250, 240, I don't know. Anyway, I bought it. I was in. Best investment I have ever made in buying a course. Everything I ever needed to know as an online entrepreneur was in there, and he keeps adding to it. This is
Mhm.
the funny part, you guys. I went to BBT where I met Kellsie. He stood on stage. I realized this person can change my life dramatically. He offered the next level program at $14,000 and I bought it that day. I
That's
I
amazing.
went through that whole like,
Love it.
can't afford $3,000. I can't afford $500. I can only afford it if it's $249 a month, whatever.
Mhm.
At that moment, I realized if I invest in myself, this is happening. I had a light bulb moment. Like, this is
Yes.
happening. Holy
Like,
shit,
this is
this is
real.
happening.
Yes.
And this is
Yes.
how I'm like, I was so grateful for the opportunity. And I thought, I don't have $14,000 in my bank account right now, but I know I'm going to be able to make it happen. And I did. Best year ever. Last year I did next level mastermind. Like life changing, life changing. And it was because I invested in myself and I saw the
Yes.
potential. If you're getting something for free, yes, it can spark an interest, it can spark the curiosity, it can get you to the next step
Mhm.
of
Of decision making.
moving forward.
Yes.
But until you truly invest in yourself, that's when you see the acceleration. That's when you see like this massive, massive growth.
Yep.
And so I would say dabble to figure out what you are interested in,
Mhm.
but then take a step. Take a step
Yes.
forward for yourself. It's an investment in whatever program it is that you want to do, whether it's Kelsey's program, whether it's my program, whether it's Amy Porterfield, whether it's James Wedmore's Business by Design, whether it's Aaron Titansor's CEO mindset. Like, it doesn't matter. Invest in yourself and you will not believe what happens
Yes.
from that. It's
Preach.
magical. Yeah, it's magical. Like, shit happens when you
Mhm.
invest in yourself. So I just gotta say that. I just gotta
Oh,
say that.
truth, though it is the most impactful reality. I mean, think about uh, like not even if we touch into like what happens in the energetics when we commit to something and say yes to something. Even think solely about the practicality. Think of, okay, if I have a program that's 8 weeks long or something like that, mine is like 6, and each week or module or something like that, I mean, you can go at your own pace, but has 7 to 10 lessons in it. All right, well, I have a real place to log into, to go through step by step these videos that are broken down into bite-sized chunks that have actionable process of decisions for me to make and then an action to step. Like that that creates tangible, literal progress of a road that you're walking on, that you're not alone, you're not just second guessing, you're not just an overwhelm of information. Like that is just so literally the only way actual change and progress happens. Now, my advice is, because there's so much content online and there's so much that's out there, it can be challenging when you're like, okay, I really like this person, I really vibe with them, I resonate with this, but also these, maybe 3 or 4 other people, and I can't choose which. They all seem to kind of teach the same thing. How do I really make that decision? I was just having this conversation with a client of mine, and she was like, all right, she really was getting stuck on the tech stuff with sim, and we went through a whole process with, I teach people how to use Kajabi because that saved my business, like with the tech side of things. So I have very clear opinions on what I recommend, but I was like, you can't let something like where to upload content and package it into a digital product hold you back for more than a few days. Like you get 1 week on this decision. Basically, like you have to cap it with the time. So it's like, it's the same with like business coaches, with what software platform am I going to use? Which direction am I going to go? Narrow it down to your, say, like 4 choices. Sign up for all of their free things. This is going to be different than what a lot of like maybe intuitive coaches are going to tell you, but I really believe in this process because it helps train in your intuition as well as your logic, and it marries the two. Where say you sign up for maybe 4 of those trials or webinars or something, and you fully put yourself into each one and give yourself a time container, say maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks maximum for any sort of decision with this, and you fully commit to each one of those, you are going to have complete clarity. You're going to have massive clarity on what your next step is. And if you don't, then that's really going to tell you that you have to do some more of that inner work to build in your intuition, to be able to hear your body, hear your mind, hear your soul, tell you what's your yes and what's your no, because you will have all of the information, all of the logic, everything there that you need in front of you, because you internally already have what you need. So you just need that guide then to help take you to the next place that you haven't been before. So when we have a controlled container for making a decision and a focused intention of, I'm going to commit to trying these out, decisions are going to become so clear, so easy. They're still going to feel scary. It's still going to feel like, holy crap, can I afford this? Like, I don't know. And we have to switch from the I can't afford this to how can I afford this? Because we understand the return of investment and what that actually means. That's how I really like to have my clients and my friends like frame decision making. Otherwise, that feeling of that overwhelm and just like, okay, I'm gonna look at this, then I'm gonna look at this, then I'm gonna look at this, then I'm gonna look at this, it will drown you.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Hmm.
totally agree.
Oh man,
Man, well, I
I
have
love
kept you.
this.
I've kept you. I've kept you for a long time here. You have so much good stuff to offer. So much good stuff to offer. Where, if people want more from you, where are they going? Tell us how they can find you.
Thank you, Gina. Oh, I so appreciate that. And it has been my utter pleasure. I completely love this. I'm very passionate about all of these wonderful topics. Please come find me on Instagram. That's like my home base. It's where I hang out the most. I'm always sharing the latest, uh, trainings or deals or specials. And we are going to do a promotion with James's program coming out, what we've been talking about through this. And right now I have a really in-depth training. It's like an hour and a half. So just get yourself a glass of wine and come and join me at this masterclass. It's called Success is in Video. I show you exactly how and why the success is in video, how and why it converts so much. And we actually make your first video together during the class so
Oh,
that you really get over that hurdle just immediately. I walk you through the whole thing. So I'm holding your hand and it's not going to be scary, but it is going to be effective. And so I really implore you, if this is something that's like sparking that interest, tug on that curiosity, come join me in the class and just commit to being present in that training and then make the decision if working together is the right fit.
Right. So tell us, like, what's your Instagram handle so people can find you? I'll put it in the show notes too, but just in case somebody's just driving and listening.
Totally. I listen to podcasts in the car constantly. I completely understand. So it's at Kellsie_Moore. My first name is spelled funny. It's Kellsie. So Kellsie_Moore. Come say
Okay.
hi.
And then what is your website?
KelsieMoore.com. Keeping it pretty simple. My YouTube channel, Kellsie Moore. Facebook. Actually, Facebook's Be Marvelous You. Never mind. That one's under
Well,
my
on your
computer.
website, do you have a little like link where they
Yeah,
can click on the Facebook thing if they want to go there? Okay.
absolutely.
All right. And I'll for sure put all those things in there. And is there a special link for them to sign up for the masterclass? When is that happening?
Yes, so that is actually that will be live later this week. So as soon as you, whenever this episode comes out, it will be ready. And the URL, I'll send it to you, but I think it's like igsuccessesinvideo.com. But I think it's a bit.ly link that we have to make it pretty easy. But grab that from the show notes or from my Instagram will be the easiest way.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was so delightful.
I
Thank
loved
you.
it. It was so good to see your beautiful face again too. I appreciate you.